You mean one of my favorite classical neo-progressive rock bands released an album and I didn't know about it? Jeez, I better get on this.
This life could be my last.
Quiet Storms by Galahad. So Galahad, as I said, is a classical neo-progressive rock band. And what I mean by that when I say that is, unlike a lot of neo-prog bands from the 80s, they didn't really change their style all that much of the essence from that 80s neo-prog. So that's what I mean by classical. They really utilize that overly theatrical presence within their music. Very large emphasis on the lead singer just belting it out and lamenting. These bands that really got traction were, say, Marillion, which has kind of petered away from the essence, IQ and Arena, Pendragon a little bit later on. But Galahad was kind of there from the start. They really got their start in like the 85 era, where they were being more of a kind of doing like a tribute band for like Led Zeppelin and Genesis. Closer to the 90s, they started to hunker down and really decide, no, we are going to be less of a tribute band and more of a full-on band. And they've released a number of really standout albums since their inception. The one that really got me was the 2007 album of Empires Never Last. This guy is, for me, is the one that put them on the map. I know that they had a lot of success in the past with Sleepers in like 95, a little bit with Year Zero in 2002, but it was with Empires Never Last that it really solidified my love for them. Within the 10 years between, they did put out 2 albums, both in 2012, Battle Scars and Beyond the Realms of Euphoria. I'm kind of lukewarm to these 2 releases. It doesn't really hit that same level of passion that Empires never did. But a few years after that, we have their latest release of Quiet Storms. And Quiet Storms is a little bit of an oddity within their discography in that it is really scaled back. This reminds me of Less is More from Marillion, or even Eye of the Soundscape from Riverside, where they took many songs from their past discography and played almost an acoustic set. I mean, 9 times out of the 10, it's just the pianos and just the lead singer. And I feel a little bit bad for the lead guitarist and drummer and bassist because they're hardly featured on this album at all. And it takes a little bit of the driving force that what I come to Galahad for. Like, what I love about Galahad is that driving guitar and that driving hook that they're able to capture that's then blended so well with the synths and mellotrons. That's why I come to Neo-Prog. It's that energy, it's that momentum that these songs have. And so when you scale it back with Quiet Storms, doesn't really jive too well with me. Now, that's not to say that all the songs on here are terrible. Some of the newer songs that they've put on just for this album works pretty well, and I feel very captivated from that, because I feel like from the inception of these songs, they come with that idea of being scaled back and scaled down. And even some of the songs on this do work, like the songs that we have from Empires Never Last. They have terminations, and they have the standout track, which is This Life Could Be My Last. This Life Can Be My Last works because it's a little bit more intimate and a little bit more like a lament as opposed to a raging against. And so that works, but a lot of these songs, I don't know, like Guardian Angel, which is also featured within one of their past songs, as well as Iceberg, these songs I'm not quite sure work all that well. And especially Shine from Ghost, where it goes from like a 14-minute epic to a 9-minute, I guess in some ways almost an overdrawn welcome. It takes a lot of that power out of the sails, and it doesn't quite work in that sense. There's not a whole lot to really dig down and digest on this album, but if this is your thing, it is a nice, what I like to call, Sunday afternoon album, and in that sense, it works in that. So, I mean, overall, I'm kind of torn in rating this album, because there's a part of me that's just like, skip this album, and another part of me is just like, well, maybe you should at least stream this album to see if it's up your alley. But for me, if I were a Galahad fan, as I am, and I'm telling myself this, I would probably say skip it, because Galahad's discography is so much more powerful and so much more potent than what we have on this. And I feel like that is reflective, and especially since we've had to wait so long for any new material, to find out that this is the new material, I'm a little bit disappointed and a little bit let down. But I can tell that certain fans are really enjoying this because it is getting some pretty good ratings. So if you're kind of into this style of music or these styles of songs, then definitely give it a stream and let me know how you think about it. But that's about it from me. What did you guys think? I'd really want to know what you guys think about this new Galahad album. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, let me know by commenting down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.
This life